Good morning, class. Today we're going to be looking at the treatment of criminals. So continuing with our look at crime and punishment, we're now going to ask that question: how should these people who have broken the law, gone against society, actually be treated? So not quite looking at the punishment itself, but how they should be treated within that punishment. Now this lesson you're going to need your exercise books, you're going to need a pen, and you're going to need a ruler. And the first job I want you to do is to put down the title, Treatment of Criminals. Underline that, make it look neat and tidy. Our learning objectives for this lesson and the next are to explore different beliefs regarding the treatment of criminals. So basically look at that general point of view, contrast that, just what do people in our society, our community believe about how criminals should be treated. And then next lesson, and a little bit this lesson, we're going to be looking at to examine religious views on the treatment of criminals. So looking at what those major religious groups say about how these people who have broken the law, broken the rules, should be treated. I'll do now. I want you to basically answer this question from a personal point of view, first of all. How should criminals be treated? Now, to give you a few ideas, to get some, hopefully some sparks lighten up in your brain, give you a few kind of views that you may find useful. So some people, will say lock them up, throw away the key. They should just be left, to kind of rot, so to speak. Other people might say, if they act like an animal, they act like animals, treat them like animals. They're showing that their behaviour is not fit for society, so they should be treated as harshly as they behave. Other people, though, a little bit of a different view, show them love and respect. So, treat them with kindness, show that compassion to them. Others might say that everyone should be given a second chance and we should be really treating them in that way, knowing that they're going to get that second chance to, make up for what they've done wrong. So again, treat them nicely, show them that love, show them that compassion, so that they, will feel, I suppose, valued, rather than obviously, thrown away. So, a couple of minutes, I want you to think about what you think and record your personal opinion, full detail as always. And then I want you to give me a contrasting opinion. Now, good way to do this, if possible, if there's somebody in your house who you can actually ask that question to get a different opinion. Now, don't go and disturb your parents if they're obviously working, but if they're not, grab them for a minute and just say to them, how do you think criminals should be treated? And see what they say and use their opinion as a contrast. If that's not possible, then obviously you can go on to the internet and see if you can find some opinions of what people think about this. So, a few minutes now, get this task completed. So pause the video and then obviously restart once you've completed that task. Okay, so hopefully your opinion just given gave you some ideas and the contrast you can think of the way in which criminals should be treated. Now, like I said, from those couple of quotes I gave you, the first two are very much, treat them badly because they've done something wrong. If they act badly, treat them badly. Make those punishments harsh and horrible and, really something that you wouldn't want to go through again. Now, that was pretty much what punishment used to be like when we go back and look at how criminals were treated in the past. And that's the kind of title question here, this next activity. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use an example here, and I want you to watch a clip which within the clip shows you what prisons were actually like in the 19th century. The clip actually focuses on the woman Elizabeth Fry. Now she's going to be one of our main case studies, our main talking points that we use in this area because of what she did for prisoners. So it's going to give you obviously all the information you need for that. Now for this part primarily I want you to look at the way in which prisoners were treated, the conditions they were kind of kept in, especially in the prison, and why she felt the need that had to be changed and what in particular was changed. So here's the clip. So on the PDF version you can click on that link and that will take you straight to it, or pause the video now and type that link into another browser to watch that little BBC clip. It's about 10 minutes long And once you finish that, obviously we'll move on to our next section. I am going to ask you some questions about this at the end of this lesson, so do pay attention. Okay, pause now, watch the clip. Okay, so hopefully good insight into what prisons used to be like. Literally a horrible, horrible place. You would definitely not want to go there. And actually the way they kept you and for the reasons were, you know, pretty much unjust and unfair. Elizabeth Fry is actually the reason why all prisons today in the UK have to allow inmates privacy, and they have the right to be taught to trade. So they are now two rights prisoners must be given when obviously locked up in a prison. More about her next time. Okay, I want to do a little contrast now and actually look at, okay, how are criminals being treated today? So in our modern society, you know, we live in a civilized world now, very different to what it was a couple hundred years ago. So surely it's changed dramatically and how we should be treating these people. Now with the sort of inclusion of things like human rights, obviously the way in which we do punish has changed dramatically. I mean, there's no more things like corporal punishment, punishments that actually inflict physical pain. So we don't use those in our society. So a little look here. I've again found some clips for you to watch to hopefully keep you engaged in this topic. And the first one's a recap from the video you've already seen. It's only a couple of minutes long, but just people saying what types of punishment they believe should be given to what type of criminal and how they should be treated. That's just a sort of recap one I want you to watch. The main two clips there, clips 1 and 2, again on the PDF, click on these and it will take you to those links. Both from BBC Archives. Both of them looking at youth justice and how we actually deal with our young criminals. So those under the age of 18, but those that would be classed as young adults, 18 to 20. And actually what works or what is potentially a better way to deal with them and to treat them. Okay, so really good insight here. And again, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions on this at the end of the lesson today. So have a watch through these clips. Again, about 10 minutes long, the two clips I think they are. So once you've watched those, obviously come back to the video. But until then, pause now. Okay, hopefully quite an insight into, you know, the way in which young people seem to respond and react to different types of punishment and treatment within the set punishment. Okay, I want you now to look for these 4 questions and use this as the last task for today. So, as always, when you answer these questions, I want you to give me full detail. Remember, that is important. It might be there in your head, but unless you show that on paper in your written word, no one knows what you think. Don't write basically thinking and assuming that person's going to understand what I'm saying. It doesn't work that way. This is a skill that we need to continually practice, writing our answers out in full, in clear detail. So no scrimping or scraping here. Don't be lazy. Just because there's no one watching you, in theory, doesn't mean you get an easy ride. So what we need to do is answer these 4 questions, thinking about everything we talked about, bringing in some of your own ideas here as well. This should take you about 20 minutes if you're putting decent detail into it. I would like you, as always, to email me a copy of your work. So take a picture of your work on your phone and just ping that to me on an email, just so I can see. I do like to see your efforts. I do like to see the kind of, you know, quality that you are producing. Okay. Any problems with anything, as always, email me and I will try and respond to you as quickly as I can to help you with any issues that you have. Hopefully, straightforward, engaging topics there. You've managed to follow along, and like I said, next lesson we're going to look at the religious responses to the treatment of criminals. So continue on this, but bring in those religious views. As always, thank you for your efforts today. I'm sure you did a great job, and I'll see you on the next video.